Hey all, Grolo here. Hope you all are doing well. It's one of my favorite times of the year. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Christmas a month after that. The weather's getting cooler, which I love. And today it's IAE 2955 kicking off. So I thought we would celebrate this by checking out all the new content. I went to the Comlink page today, and there's a ton of new stuff up there to check out. So I thought we would run through it. Real quick before we get started, though, there's a really cool non-CIG sponsored contest going on. In case you missed it in my posts, they've taken like 5 or so people, and they're running a contest to see who can use the character generator in Star Citizen to get the closest representation to one of these people. So if you go to my community page, which you can get to, by the way, just by typing grolo.community into your browser, it'll bring you right here to this page. But the second post down right now has a link to this Spectrum post where Shankers is putting on the contest, and he's got 5 people, and I'm one of them. So this is just the coolest thing ever. I'm honored to be part of such a thing, and I'm hoping to get a really cool character model out of this that I can use in game, because I am terrible with character model creators. So anyway, check that out. I'll put a link to it down below too, if I remember. But back to the IAE stuff. The first thing I wanted to just touch on real quick was the roadmap roundup. There's not a whole lot here, but what's here is huge. So obviously we got 4.4 on live as of yesterday. And by the way, I am going to be doing a live stream of 4.4 on Saturday evening, just like we did a few weeks ago. I would love if you could come check it out. Really enjoy everyone's company while we're doing that. But yeah, I'm excited. That'll be my first foray into 4.4. I haven't logged in yet, but Saturday I will be. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we see. I'm excited. So far I'm hearing good reports that things are running pretty good. I've heard that the NPCs potentially deadlier. That's just what I'm hearing initially. We'll see. So the next thing, 4.5. I don't think there's any timeline associated with this. We don't really know when to expect this, but huge engineering, fire hazards, obviously the 2 biggest things coming in 4.5, and I am super excited about both. Engineering has been a long time coming. I remember a year ago, almost to the day, where I thought it was imminent that it was going to be released in 2024. But of course, they ended up delaying that, reshuffling how they were delivering Pyro and all that. So here we are a year later. It seems like it's imminent again, and I could not be more excited for this. I think, especially with all the capital ships that have come out during 2025, it's really changed the landscape of space combat and ship gameplay in the game. I mean, it's totally different now than it was a year ago with all these capital ships out there. But I don't think that we've really fully realized like the transition yet, because a lot of people are playing these capital ships as solo ships, and I think that engineering is really going to be the first time that we kind of feel the heft and the weight of these capital ships, and we start and the gameplay starts to adapt and change to the size of these things. So I'm really excited at that, and fire hazards are just going to be damn cool. I can't wait to fight a fire. Although I don't know if I'll be saying that after the first few times I've fought one. So after that, it might just be a sign that things are not going according to plan. But very, very cool. Very excited to see how immersive it feels. We've seen a lot of like video demonstrations of this, but living it, breathing it, playing in it will be totally different. I have not been following the engineering evolution too closely. I keep asking folks who are hands-on in there with this on the PTU and etc., like, does it feel significantly different from last time, back in 2024, whenever we were seeing things so far I'm hearing a little bit, not a lot. I would love to get any of your thoughts or opinions if you've had your hands on this. How are you thinking about it? How does it feel? Drop me a comment below. Let me know. Aside from those two enormous things, we got a few small things. Physicalized helmets is cool. Whenever you drop your helmet on the ground, it's not going to turn to a box anymore. I think we can all appreciate that. Some new barrel attachments, tactical volt flashlight, scorched, weaker power. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be cool to see what's up with that. Obviously, Vulcan has been something they've been focused on for a long time. I don't know a whole lot about this kind of thing, but I'm very excited to see what Vulcan can do. I've heard from a few people that have been playing around with this one on the test realms and stuff that it's really pushing the GPU a lot harder than what Live does. So yeah, with benefits. So I'm excited to see that. I have a 5090, so I'm eager to push it. Heat that thing up. FPS AI improvements, always a welcome change. The AI still has a ways to go in many respects. And hairstyles. We can never have too many hairstyles. Maybe, I think that contest that I mentioned at the start of this video, that runs till January. So if 4.5 lands before then, who knows? Maybe that'll help you, anybody who participates in the contest, achieve some level of additional realism. That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, we could talk at length about engineering, and maybe we will in another video, but we're not going to do it now. I just wanted to skim over that real quick, see what the roadmap roundup was all about. Very excited for engineering. So let's get into the rest of what IAE has in store for us here on day one in Comlink. First off, if you haven't seen it, they released the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2955 schedule. You can open that page up. It's got obviously day one. We're already there, which is today and tomorrow. Robert Space Industry, all the ships for sale there. Next up after that, day two, which will be the November 21st, 22nd, is going to be Origin. There's nothing in the Origin line that I don't have that I'm excited about. Drake too, for that matter, but I'm not the biggest Drake fan. Drake is the artistic design style, not my cup of tea. I know I'm a weirdo. I know a lot of people that are RSI fans, and obviously we got the two new RSI ships. I'm running a poll on my community page, by the way. Go take it. It's I'm asking what ship people are most excited about. So I know a lot of people are excited about the Perseus, Salvation, cool new starter salvage ship. I think that's pretty cool. I saw some clips of the Salvation. That's interesting. Reminds me of something from like Star Trek. But Perseus, obviously, I don't have one of these. I don't plan on getting one of these, but I am excited to take a ride on somebody else's. We probably will be on Saturday during the live stream, so I'll check that out. But Origin Jump Works will be day two and day two. Like I said, nothing there I'm really looking forward to. Now Drake is day three. For those who don't know, I'm a big MISC fan. I love MISC design and aesthetics, but a really close second to MISC is Drake. Basically because they both have that lived-in worker person's feel to them. I think Drake has really been growing on me over the last year or two. I really appreciate like the not put togetherness of it. But both of them, Drake and MISC, they have that kind of down and out or like worker feel, or something. Whereas RSI strikes me more as like a Ferrari or like a sharp, edgy design language. I'm definitely I gravitate more towards the industrial feeling ships. Another one would be Argo. Argo is really high on my list. Drake, MISC, and Argo would definitely be my top three. Now on the shiny, really sleek design style side, I lean more towards Origin. I like Origin's design language when it comes to that kind of thing, so that would be like my my dressed up preference. But anyway, I've seen some leaks. We're not gonna look at them here. I want to save it for let you decide if you're gonna look at it. But obviously there's some leaks out there on the Clipper. I'm freaking pumped about the Clipper. That's definitely on my my shopping list for IAE. Let me know if it's on yours. And after that, day 4, we got the bunch of the alien stuff. Again, I'm not a huge fan. And then on day 4, Alpel, Banu, Asperia. I don't know if I'm saying all that right. I'm not really a huge fan on any of these brands personally, so I'm not. Same with the Kruger Intergalactic. Now Mirai Misk, obviously. Big fans of those. But I don't think there's anything on this list that I am in need of. How about you? Nothing, unless there's some unknown. But Anvil Aerospace, day 6. Argo, which I am a big fan of, day 7. I guess we're getting a new ground vehicle with the point defense system. I really have not seen this. I don't know much about this. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard about it. I don't know what it's going to be. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Let me know if you know. Crusader, day 8, and Tumbril. Crusader, I would put middle of the pack for me on its design language. I do love the look of this thing. But, yeah, aside from that, nothing I'm looking for. Aegis. I like Aegis. I got some good design. And then, of course, we'll have the best in show, the finale, and all that stuff. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see how this event unfolds. But I want to get into some of the videos they've released. I guess first, I haven't watched this yet. Welcome to Nyx. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I'm going to check it out right now. I love these things. Oh, there it is. You know, we don't even have to watch the leak together. There's the Clipper. Man, that thing is sweet.
What makes this place different?
You feel that too, right?
Look at those engines. Oh, hate this. There we go. Definitely the rear of that definitely reminds me of their data carrier, the Herald. Thank you. Finally came to me. Definitely some Herald influence there on the back. I know a lot of people are not into asymmetrical ships. I love asymmetrical ships. I love some of Crusader's ships, like the MSR. Also, to a lesser extent, Drake's Corsair. The Corsair is, I don't know. I was never a huge fan of it. It just didn't feel Drakey enough to me, but you can definitely see how this ship is influenced by both the Corsair, the Herald, and a couple other Drake ships. But I love the asymmetrical wings on the Corsair, and I love them on this too.
Well, I could ramble on about it.
I love the boxy front too. I don't know. I see. There's some people that love Ferraris, and then there's me. I love these just flying boxes. I was a huge fan of the Cutter too. It's just a little too small for my taste, but yeah.
Hopeful horizons, chasing some distant dream. But the simple truth is, this place is different because it was made different. It was built by us. A people with one purpose, I guess. Yeah, a purpose. To just live free.
Very cool.
You see, No one hands this sort of life to you.
A lot of Drake here. We had a cat
It's
on the right,
worked
Clipper on the
for,
left.
even fought for, by us. And those who came before us.
So who's starting here? I don't think I'm going to start here, but it'll be my first destination for sure. I'll be starting on Hurston again. It's where I started last patch or two.
People with the will to grab this kind of freedom from an unrelenting grip. That's what I mean when I say this place was made. I don't mean the buildings or the rocks. Just look around.
I love the look.
It ain't polished. It sure as hell ain't pretty. But it's real. It's free. And it's ours.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I love the aesthetics of Nyx. It definitely has that, like just like I was saying with the ships, it has that worker feel to it. You know what I mean? So when they were panning around that bar, I did catch a little bit of like the same styles that I saw in Area 18, but just slight. Definitely was unique and stood on its own as the whole thing did. I'm very excited to get in there and see it for myself. How about what else do we got on? Let's dig into the ships. First, I want to check out the advertisement page for the Perseus. This thing looks sweet. Go ahead and watch it. Looks sweet, but it's not on my shopping list.
Captain, you better get up here.
We're picking up a distress call.
Definitely has that RSI cockpit.
This is untrue. General quarters, general quarters. All hands to general quarters station. Up and forward starboard, down quarters. This is untrue.
I love the cinematic visualization of the tractor beam. That's a big turret. They upgraded this to size 8 from the original size 7, right? That's what I heard.
Reading multiple contacts.
That's sharp. Yeah. Bridge looks nice. Let me guess, this thing's gonna come in here and tear this up. They really had like the shark thing going there. Oof. Glimpse of Maelstrom there. We need Maelstrom to make that a reality. I can't wait till shells come puncturing through the hulls. Just tear the side of the ship off. That would be amazing. Pilot controlled torpedoes, is that right? Be interesting. Nice. They're definitely going for the shark visual here. Just looked like the shark tearing through its prey there at the end. Here comes the Vandal. That was kind of a weak point job, like... What are those things? Those, they look like bullets, but they got little jet streams behind them. I don't know if that's like some type of rocket or some special ammunition, or they're just juicing it up for cinema. Cool. Now, I know they released Behind the Ships RSI chat about this thing, so let's just get right into that. I want to hear what the devs have to say about it.
RSI Perseus is a big ship for big fights, but you're not quite ready for capitals yet.
It's a heavy gunship that focuses on...
It's a big ship for when you're not quite ready for capitals yet. So this is like a capital with training wheels. That's funny. But anyway, I'm so pumped for these IAE shows. I wonder how many they're going to do during IAE. Last year they did a lot, and we got some like special conversations around like the future of capital ship combat. That was one of my favorite talks. They did some more technical ones. I'm wondering if we get some more of those this year, or what this year's going to look like. But I'm excited for whatever it is.
Heavy turret firepower. A gunship is a ship that's capable of engaging and targeting other ships at the same time, which provides a way for players to take control of an area and engage multiple threats simultaneously rather than having to dogfight and focus on one at a time.
So a heavy gunship is when the ship gets a little bit more bulky, gets a lot more defensive, and is designed to tackle a bit bigger foes.
Some of the larger threats it's ideal for targeting would be things like constellations and that sort of size ships.
The RSI Perseus is like a classic RSI design. It's a really large, long, very menacing looking ship. We've got this pointy nose. You've got the bridge just behind the center line, so it echoes that classic warship aesthetic.
Entirely, it really feels like a solid ship, able to go into battle, and it's well protected. It's heavy duty, and it looks badass.
The thrusters on the rear, again, we built on what RSI is known for, with these kind of large thrusters that are out on the nacelles at either side.
Back when we introduced the Perseus as a concept, its role in the game was to be a sort of mirror of the Aegis Hammerhead, where the Hammerhead was designed as a heavy gunship for screening smaller fighter craft, whereas the Perseus was for engaging larger threats.
So when the Perseus was originally...
I appreciate the role definition there. It's interesting to know like what their intended role and usage of these things are. The community doesn't always use them quite the same way, but I like the behind the scenes thinking, and it makes sense. The Hammerhead being more of a fighter screener, and this one being more of a engager of the larger targets, like you mentioned in the beginning, like the constellation size targets. Also, the fact that this is not designed for dogfighting definitely makes this more of a ship for me. I am not a skilled dogfighter, although I'm looking to become better. So I've got some people offering to train me. I do intend to take them up on it so that I'm a little deadlier out there.
It had size 7 weapons. As times went on and other larger ships have entered the game, we felt it didn't fit the rule well enough anymore to be size 7s.
All right, yeah, this is what I heard.
That's why it's been upgraded to size 8 weapons.
These are manned and capable of full 360 traversal, and then there's a slew of point defense turrets.
The 360 traversal seems to be a lot more common on these newer ships coming out, and I really think they need to go back and refactor some of the older ships to bring that in. Like, the Hammerhead is a really great example where, like, the lack of coverage on its turrets just feels like it really gimps that ship compared to something like this. Especially for a ship that is, they're saying is meant to be a fighter screener. But with the traversal speed of fighters, like not having full coverage on the turrets on a platform like that seems like such a weakness. But I'm sure it's just one of those things where like the pace of design and ship design is just kind of outstripping the game, and it's just one of those things where they're just going to have to go back and bring this other stuff up eventually. But I think the Hammerhead is a great ship, and I'd love to see it feel more competitive.
Throughout the ship as well to provide protection against incoming missiles and torpedoes.
And they're fully interchangeable, like all the other PDTs in-game, such as the missile one that came out with the Idris K, along with the ballistic Gatling variant that's coming with the MDC in a few days.
There are also smaller size 3 remote turrets that can be controlled from the bridge.
That was a juggling act because that was not in the concept, so we had to incorporate all of those weapons together but not break the silhouette of the concept in a destructive way. So I think we maintained the silhouette generally, but also added the necessary functionality to match the expected turret experience that came from Squadron. There was a lot of moving parts, pun intended, with that, where the whole turret had to literally extend when you sit in it, for the fact that the seat and the turret pivots needed to be lined up on the Y-axis. So that's why they transform once you sit in them. The player won't notice, but that was to actually make it so the pivots line up, so when you tilt your seat is tilting at the same angle as the turret that's next to you.
The player won't notice is an interesting line. It's just to me that goes to show a level of passion and commitment to doing things the right way, right? Like, it reminds me of the story. I don't know if anybody's out there has read like the Steve Jobs biography or whatever, or many of articles have been written on it, but one thing he was famous for early on was caring about the way the inside of a Mac looked. There's many things that have been written about this, people's testimonies about just how pedantic he was and obsessive about the inside of the computer looking clean. And it was nothing like today. Like today we all have like these transparent cases and stuff that actually puts the insides on display, but back then those things were completely enclosed. There was no plexiglass sitting on it. But most people were never going to see the inside, but they cared anyway. That's the kind of thing, like, when I hear, like, players aren't even going to see this, but we wanted it to work that way anyway, because that's what makes sense. Like, that stands out to me. It resonates with me.
Tried 3 Perseus against the Polaris, and they did extremely well, because the Polaris's major punch is the torpedo, whereas the Perseus's major punch are the guns.
The guns.
And the guns have no range limit, so you just go right down the throat of the Polaris, and you're pummeling it, and we destroyed it quite quickly. You can't really be stopped. But the Perseus does have...
Don't say you can't really be stopped.
I was going to say.
You say that, and then they're going to nerf it 5 days later.
Okay, you can be stopped by good tactics and smartitude.
This is what I have to work with, people.
Smartitude?
So there are multiple different ways to enter the Perseus. All of them will connect you into the cargo hold, but all come with different pros and cons. So you have the docking collar, which allows you to connect to stations. You have the personnel lift, which allows you to enter the ship without depressurizing the cargo hold. And then you have the main lift that you can put people or vehicles on to get up to the actual ship. All of them bring you into the large cargo hold area.
Looks like a good size.
Quickly navigate to the other parts of the ship.
Compared to the original concept, we've made some minor interior changes just to improve the flow throughout the ship.
Sometimes what we find is when we're tackling the ships with a large interior space, we want to make sure that the interior has all the functionality that we want, and sometimes that does have some layout changes.
The cargo bay, since the concept has been increased to 96 SCU, and the layout of it is pretty favourable in terms of putting vehicles in. You can put things up to, say, rover-sized vehicles in there, and this does allow you to run cargo missions, although that is not the ideal role of this ship.
In this space, we really try.
He said rover size, but I saw a lot of empty space around there, which means other people are going to try to smash everything you can imagine in there. Like, I wonder if you can get a ballista in there. I'm sure somebody's going to figure it out.
Try to convey the strength of the ship. So one of the things that we evolved.
I definitely appreciate having lots of space around the vehicles that I park within vehicles. I hate that cramped feeling of like having to like shimmy past. No thanks.
Slightly from the original concept was these large structural beams. They tie the walls, the floors, the ceilings all together, and they give a little bit of a skeleton to the ship. It really conveys that no matter where it takes a hit, it's going to survive.
I love the nautical theme to it, and we tried to create that aesthetic inside the ship where we labeled everything similar to an actual military ship. When I toured the Midway down in San Diego and when I was visiting the Bar Citizen, I met a lot of former Navy guys, and they said, yeah, we have, labels and arrows pointing every which way, so when you're in a big ship, you never get lost. I'm the one who put it.
That is important, because I do get lost in these ships, even with all the labels. Some more labels, very welcome.
And the basketball hoop.
Why?
Yeah, because the concept artist had this, this harebrained scheme, and hopefully the fans will make use of it. I mean, I was able to shoot hoops successfully in there.
What?
If you turn left in the cargo area, right in front of you, you've got the
It's actually a functional basketball court?
So on the lower deck, that is where you access actually loading the torpedoes in.
We changed the concept entirely. Instead of an enclosed device, it's an open bay where it's this V shape and you can load all 20 and visibly see every single torpedo.
That's cool.
The reasoning is versus the Polaris, where that system, you sort of load the torpedoes, but then it tucks under and then you can't see them anymore. That interfered with the ability to unload and reload them. So that was the critical change versus the Polaris.
And then on the upper deck, that's where you have the fire control. That full section there is really kind of dedicated.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where they learn from their mistakes and they improve it on the next ship. And so the next ship's better. And a lot of people I've heard criticize them for the ever improving nature of newer ships, but it just seems natural to me. Like you learn and you get better. But it definitely creates a trail of technical debt that, as fans, I'm sure you and I definitely hope that they come back through and improve things someday. So that's a really good point on the Polaris of not being able to unload, and I wonder if at some point they'll come up with a system to provide for that.
It's just blowing things up. I think it's very atmospheric in there. It feels like you're really in the heart of this big war machine. Slightly further ahead of that, you've then got the turret access, and that gives you access to one of the manned turrets. If you're in the cargo area, you turn towards the rear of the ship. On the lower deck, we've got the engineering area. That's where you've got all your core important ship items that allow the ship to function. On the middle floor of the rear of the ship is where our habitation area is. It's got a shared bunk area, typical of what you would expect on a military ship. And then off of this area, we've got a small bathroom, and then we've also got some storage for your weapons and also your armors. So at the top of the ship, we've got the captain.
Anybody using those weapon racks yet? I keep wanting to RP and load some stuff on them. I've maybe used once or twice, but I feel like I really have to force it right now. I can't wait till there's actual solid reasons, and maybe with suit lockers and that kind of thing, it'll become a little more practical.
Quarters.
I don't think that the fact that we just respawn with our gear on us right now is helping matters on that front.
Right in the heart of operations, so they can go straight out of the captain's quarters and straight into the bridge.
And a new entrance-exit airlock behind the bridge, protected by 3 doors for security for quicker EVA access.
What do you expect to happen on this thing?
What do I expect to happen on this thing?
That you have increased security on the bridge.
They added a door behind the bridge because they got bored of getting out of the ship and taking forever. But then I pointed out you just put a weak spot right behind the bridge. So they put 3 doors. You have to breach 3 doors to get through. So it's not easy to get in, but easy to get out.
And then at the front, obviously, we've got the main flight deck.
They got bored of getting
The
out.
bridge has 3 seats, 1 gunner, 1 co-pilot, and the pilot one. It has...
I appreciate that, though. I appreciate quick entry methods. One of the reasons I'm a big fan of MISC is, like, I feel like they lead the pack on bridge accessibility.
A really nice view when you get on the pilot seat and it slides up and forward, and you can see this giant turret in front of the ship. That's really cool.
It's very reminiscent to old battleships. You've got views all around the front half of the ship, so it's a really nice place to be.
It's cool.
I think the ship's great. I think the North American team did a fantastic job of looking at what we delivered with the Polaris and taking on board some of the feedback. I know there was a lot of feedback around navigation and signage, and set a really nice standard of we've listened, and this is kind of the new and improved.
I think it's going to be a combat-defining ship. We're going to see a big change in the way that people fight each other. It's a ship designed to actually put pressure on some of the larger ships if you crew them. I'm super excited to see how the Perseus and Hammerhead work together next year in the upcoming tactical strike groups. The ship's almost designed to work in tandem with each other.
Across the board, very happy with it.
It's been quite a long-awaited concept to in-game, and I think we've massively improved upon what was originally promised, and just the styling of it is just cool.
Definitely true. I joined the Star Citizen project back in 3.17, and so many of the ships we have now were still concepts at that time. I can't even imagine the people that have been backing this for 10 years prior to that. A lot of these concepts, going back a really long time, and it just seems to me like over the past couple of years there's been such an acceleration on the delivery of these large capital class ships, and I don't know. Even for me, in the couple years that I've been on the project, it's really been really cool to see the uptick and seeing this stuff come into the verse. I can't imagine how it feels for some of the people, again, who've been here far longer than I have. So that's behind the ships on the Perseus. Thing looks pretty badass. The view that they were talking about having from the bridge, that's definitely a weak spot on some of my favorite brands like Drake and MISC. The bridge view isn't always the best. I can't think of it. There might be a Drake ship where that's not the case, but I'm having trouble thinking of it at the moment. Anyway, in case you missed it, there's a referral bonus going on right now. I know a lot of people who did not get in on the Hello Kitty or the Star Kitten. Sorry, why did I say Hello Kitty? The Star Kitten Dragonfly. So you got another shot. This thing, at one point it was super rare. So we'll see that coming back in to the verse. Let's look at the RSI Salvation, shall we? From what I understand, this is a starter ship. It gives new players a way to just jump right into the salvage game loop, which is cool. This thing looks like something out of like Star Trek to me. Oh, is there no video for this one? Only $55. And from what I understand, this thing is LTI. So if you're looking for an LTI token, there you go. You can use the Salvation for that. Looks like they do have a behind the ships for the RSI Salvation. Let's check that out.
Starter ships are important because they are the entryway into a career that you may not necessarily have thought you want to play. So having them be this low-cost entry point allows you to try more game loops and gameplay styles. Starter ships are also important to have a sense of progression through the ship lineup. You need that entry point and then progressions into more advanced and expansive ships throughout that universe. We're proud to introduce the entry-level salvage ship, the RSI Salvation.
The RSI Salvation is a new salvage starter from the manufacturer RSI. It's the first ship off the production line for that profession in the game.
The Salvation is for those players who want to get into the salvage career, or those who are sort of being curious about it but wanted an easy way into that loop. This allows you to access the new RMC and salvage changes very easily.
RSI Salvation is a beautiful, compact solo ship.
Definitely a good way of getting your foot in the door if you want to do a bit of salvaging. But you don't want a big boy like the Reclaimer because it's way too big and you need lots of people. Or you want a bit more reliability than the Vulture because it's Drake. Drake's not reliable. I love Drake, but it's not.
It's a very small, purpose-built ship. We wanted it to look strong, but quite stubby. It was a balance between making it feel industrial, feel functional, and strong. So when you first look at it,
definitely
the first thing
achieves
you're
stubby.
gonna notice is these structural elements that are like an external roll cage that wrap around either side of the ship, and they're kind of cocooning all the functional bits. On either side, we've got these fins that open up, so when you go into salvage mode, there's like somewhere for it to like release its energy, release its heat that it's not needing.
And you've got a big tank that processes
That's
all the
cool.
material to then squish it.
I love those little tiny details like that. It goes back to what I was talking about just a little bit ago with the inside of the computer and the attention they gave to the way the seat aligns with the y-axis on the Perseus. Little things like that. They make it. That's what's going to make this bring this universe to life.
Into the crates.
It's a single-seater, you get in through the front of it, you deploy your salvage arms and they just pop out either side of you and you get great visibility of both what you're trying to salvage but also the mechanisms that are doing the salvaging for you.
That's
Salvage generally starts with the
That view
scraping
is
of the
very
hull,
nice.
and the Salvation comes with a pair of bespoke salvage scrapers.
And then there's little grills on those arms which do the fracturing. And inside of those arms you've got the bit that does the fracturing and the disintegrating.
We wanted the player to know kind of what modes they're in. So when you're in scraping mode or fracturing mode, we've got these beams and glows down either side just to let you know what's going on. And then round the rear of the ship, it's all dedicated to the salvage space.
Once you've scraped the hull, you can then fracture the hull, and the salvage has a built-in auto loader which provides the crates of the goods and then exports them onto the exterior of the ship.
It's a 6 SCU grid at the rear, and that just holds your individual containers of salvage material.
It comes with 2 weapons to protect you in your missions. It also
Wonder what the
has
buffer is.
a weapon rack and utility rack, so you will be
Oh,
ready
that's
for
cool.
any threat in your job.
The paints are
I like
very
those
pretty.
racks.
RSI is a lot more refined in its style. It wants you to feel more
I love utility like that. Again, it goes back to what I was saying about the weapon rack thing. Like, how useful is it now? It feels forced at the moment, but I can only hope that someday that stuff is gonna just be extremely cool. Especially as like, we shed this Tier 0 implementation of item recovery and whatnot, and our vehicles and stuff become less replaceable. There's more incentive to repair and recover than just reclaim. I can imagine that stuff. All those are like vectors and factors that play into this stuff not seeing a whole lot of use, at least for me yet, but I can see a future where it does, and I love those details.
luxurious with doing.
The MP, there was an MP ground vehicle. I just discovered it the other day. I didn't even know I had it. Oh, it was the little 4-wheel doom buggy thing. That has a gun or utility holder on the side for both sides, for the passenger and the driver. And then it has like fold-out storage in the back. I didn't even know that existed on that thing, man. It's cool finding new things like that all the time.
Mundane, different tasks. So they took an industrial role and they went, hey, let's make it look cool.
It's very built for function.
Of course they did. Like I said, RSI strikes me as the Ferrari of Star Citizen.
You simply just get in it, go do the salvage mission. There's no onboard amenities like a bed. You do the salvage and then you come back. Very happy with how the Salvation turned out. It's a lot of ship in a small package.
It treads that line between being, it feels strong, it feels tough, it's still quite cute.
Small package. I wonder what, I'm sure somebody will have this all mapped out, probably by now already, what ships the Salvation fits in. Because that'll definitely determine how much utility this little thing has. Like, can I fit it in, I don't know. Carrack? I wonder if it'll fit in the top of a Carrack. Or, definitely looks too big. It's definitely, yeah, it's not going to fit in the top of a TAC. There's probably a lot of ships this thing will fit in.
At least in my opinion, it's quite cute. I think it's like a nice little ship.
I really like this ship because I pay lots of time to create lots of detail on it. So yeah, I really like this ship. This is my best job. For now.
He just looks like a little disc that wants to hug you. With his little arms.
Again, every ship's going to be their best ship. Just natural way of things. Give Salvage a hug. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't see that thing coming. I'm sure there's been leaks and rumors for a while. I was oblivious to them, so kind of a pleasant surprise to me. It looks like they got some Q&As up here real quick. Let's see what the top questions being asked are. Let's start with the Perseus. What are the most notable changes made since the original concept design? Biggest changes we made around the weapons, loadout, and interior layout. They've already kind of covered this during the video, talking about going from size 7 to size 8 guns. Cargo bay adjusted by removing the central walkway, allowing increased SCU capacity, which is cool. Of course, they talked about the torpedo layout. Okay. When the Perseus was first revealed, its visual design was met with overwhelmingly positive feedback. Did the team take that response into account when considering any exterior updates? And were they changes ultimately made? This seems to be things they've already talked about in the video. They already mentioned that they were able to maintain the silhouette with a lot of juggling. The biggest changes were increasing the landing gear's bulk and the top floor exterior, adding windows and bulking it up. In addition to 2 S3 Gatlings to the manned turrets, which they talked about in the video. Vehicle definition for the Perseus is heavy gunship. Can you tell us why this unique classification was given? We changed its classification to heavy gunship so that it's clearly placed alongside other comparable ships. The Perseus definitely fits this categorization, bristling with a total of 4 size 8 cannons, 8 S3 Gatling guns, and S5 torpedo launchers. Yeah, I think they laid it out better in the video than they did here. I appreciated the comparison to the oh man, my brain. I appreciated the comparison to the Hammerhead, and how the Hammerhead was more of a fighter screener, while this one was more intended to engage with larger, heavier targets. That to me feels like a good clarification on heavy gunship. Based on the role and the advantages it brings, how does it distinguish itself from ships like the Hammerhead and Polaris? Okay, it looks like they probably go into it here. Yeah, Hammerhead's primarily an anti-fighter ship. blah. Polaris was a much bigger ship than the Perseus, nearly twice the size, in fact. As such, they have different roles. Polaris has a hangar, more guns, more missiles, and devastating size 10 torpedoes. The Perseus is faster, more maneuverable, but would have a harder time taking on larger capital ships than the Polaris can. Yeah, I would imagine the Polaris is more equipped to deal with, or it should be more capable of dealing with something like the Idris or Javelin or whatever. Does the Perseus have any pilot-controlled weapons, and how are the ship's combat stations assigned? It looked like the pilot controlled torpedoes in the video. Yeah, pilot can fire the torpedoes. There's a dedicated torpedo console in the forward part of the ship. So it sounds like either the pilot or a gunman. Personally, I am, again, more in favor of these large ships not having pilot guns, but torpedo, yeah, acceptable. Oh, and it has slave control of the top remote turret. Rounding out the British co-pilot has control of the top remote turret when in their seat. And the gunner controls the bottom remote turret. The top and bottom large turrets are man turrets, thankfully. So they each need a player seated with them by default. I'm at least thankful that the big size 8s are manned, requiring this ship to have some level of multi-crew to be as effective. That's a step in the right direction for me. I really dislike the fact that something like an Idris has so much pilot-controlled firepower. How do the Perseus main turrets perform against larger targets compared to other ships, such as the Polaris with its torpedoes, or the Idris with its size 10 cannon? While built as a sub-capital killer, that doesn't mean it's entirely toothless against larger prey. Compared to the Polaris torpedoes, the Perseus cannons do not have a minimum range requirement, nor can they be intercepted by point defense. Again, that's compared to the torpedoes. Yeah, that makes sense. Perseus can fly right down the throat of an enemy capital ship and unload 4 size 8s at close range. The Idris size 10 cannons is not gimbaled, so the entire ship has to be turned to bear the gun down at the enemy. And that's the only reason I feel that it makes sense for the pilot to be in control of that gun on the Idris. But I think there needs to be something done to incentivize multi-crew on the Idris. One thing we've discussed is something along the lines of engineering or some kind of a support role for the pilot so that you can accelerate the cooldown of that gun. Like by default, maybe it's really long, but if you have support from your team, engineering, whatever, you can fire the gun more often. Something like that would make a lot of sense for me. By contrast, the Perseus turrets can point any which way, so they are not dependent on the ship's position or direction. Yeah, that also supports like the up close and personal play versus capital ship at a distance unloading volleys, so I like that. Perseus would obviously be outmatched by a well-crewed Polaris or an Idris in head-to-head battle, but its small size and relative maneuverability, everything's relative, would allow it to give these ships a run for their money, especially if they were 2 or 3 working together. I can imagine. Again, that video where they were showing the Perseus in action, they were going for such shark vibes in that video. I can imagine being in a larger ship and being circled by a few of these things. It would definitely feel like you were in shark-infested waters. So, that's cool. Let's take a look at the Q&A on the RSI Salvation. Salvation is positioned as an entry-level ship in the salvage career path. What key features make it an ideal starting point for an aspiring salvager? Salvation has dedicated salvage head setup that focuses on quickly gathering recycled material composite, RMC. It might not be the biggest ship with the biggest tools, but it allows players to get a good understanding of the salvage profession, including hull scraping and structural salvage. However, while the Salvation is capable of structural salvage, its limited cargo space means it's not the intended focus of the ship. So what I'm hearing is this is a really good platform to get your feet wet and then use it for funding to upgrade to a real salvage ship. That's what that sentence says to me. With the Salvation's total SCU capacity, including buffer, and it's large enough for profitable solo runs or better suited for group salvage operations. That's a place where I could see this. Like we love to run group salvage operations, so I can see this being a lot more useful. Like when I said 6 SCU in the back, my first question was, okay, well, how big's the buffer? It looks like the internal storage is befitting of its size with a 6 SCU capacity alongside the external 6 SCU. So 12 SCU total is what you're going to store in this thing. It's a pretty small amount. They're claiming it's enough to salvage small ships comfortably. However, with its focus on hull scraping and its maneuverability, there are some use cases in larger salvage groups, which makes sense. I can see that. Especially with its size. If this thing is truly the smallest salvage ship of the bunch, which it looks like, then its size might make it cool for like a salvage carrier. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. What types of construction materials will it produce, and what size ship can it structurally salvage? Salvation is a light salvage ship. It's able to recover rubble. It's able to recover rubble, a dense construction material with low yield but faster refinement time. Is that a new material they're adding? That's the first I'm hearing of rubble. Due to structural salvage not being as focused, the larger ships we intended for it to fracture successfully are around the size of a MISC Freelancer. Okay. Good to know. Does it come with bespoke or swappable salvage heads? I believe they said bespoke in the video. Yeah, it has a bespoke setup designed for new players. This means that it has unique salvage heads and scraper attachments that cannot be exchanged. That is a bummer. I'm generally not a huge fan of bespoke stuff because I like the ability to customize my stuff. But I've also heard that that doesn't mean there might not be bespoke options in the future for ships like this. We'll see. How do players access the filler station? In the Salvation, the filler station is operated via a screen inside the cockpit. That's cool. Which is used to manage and distribute salvage commodity crates. Good idea. I didn't consider that, but that's a good solution to the problem. Anything else good here on the first day of IAE? Let's see here. Looks like they got or an IAE 2955 about page. Just kind of like a welcome to the expo. Get to play for free. Yeah. Go out there. If you have not yet purchased a starter pack and you want to try the game out, jump on in. Great time. Game has been running well. Probably one of the best times ever to jump in and play for free. And if you're new to the game and you're looking for some people to play with, I know where you can go. Go check out unhinged.gg or luminous.gg. Unhinged is our gaming organization. Luminous is the name of our Star Citizen organization. Unhinged is the umbrella above it. Both places have links to our Discord server. You can get in there. We're always hanging out in a public Star Citizen channel there. Just jump right in. Introduce yourself, say hi. We will get you flying with us in no time. There are practically people in there every hour of the day. We'd love to have you in there. Also, bring a friend. Because if you recruit a friend and give them the code, if you do decide to join the game and buy a starter pack, whatever, you get this freaking sweet Dragonfly Star Kitten variant, which, again, as I said, up till now has been probably one of the rarest vehicles in the game. So it's cool that they brought it back. I know a lot of people are going to be clamoring for that thing. I can foresee a lot of friends joining the game just because of the Star Citizen Dragonfly, which I'm sure CIG knows, and I'm sure that's why they're doing it. I know I'll be looking for a friend to join. So if you don't have a friend and you do decide to join the game, check the comments below. I'll drop my code in there, my invite code, so that I can get a Dragonfly. Again, no pressure. I'm not trying to sway you, but I'll take one if you got nobody else to give it to. New to the expo. Yeah, so a bunch of other stuff. Come check this page out on your own time. Again, it's the About the Expo page. Looks like they also had a page for RSI, because today is obviously day one. This is RSI day. So they got a page here that I assume, yeah, is going to go into detail on all the RSI ships. Two of them which are new, the RSI Perseus and the Salvation. Those are the ones we just looked at. But they'll have some other ships on here too. RSI Meteor, Medevac, all kinds of good stuff. Again, you can check that page out on your own. I think they got a merchandise page here. What kind of merch is for sale? I love, by the way, if this is your first IAE, if you actually go to the Expo Center where the IAE is being held, then they always have like an in-game merch shop set up with t-shirts and all kinds of other stuff representing, like, you know, your favorite ship brands. So you can get Origin, Misk, Drake, you can get all the shirts. Really represent your favorite brands, in-game brands that way, for in-game credits. The stuff doesn't cost any money. It's just a lot of fun. I enjoy browsing the merch shop every year, see if anything new is added. And I always pick up some shirts from my favorite ship manufacturers. So if you're looking for me in game, you'll probably find me there over the next couple days. I will definitely be checking out the expo hall. But it looks like this is actual real world merchandise. Got it. Totally different than what I was talking about. But I am a fan of CIG's real world merchandise. They got some cool stuff. You've probably seen, this is one such shirt. You've seen me rock this stuff. They got good stuff. I'll probably pick some of that up too. And their merch goes towards their concierge program and everything else. So, what else? I think that's it. I think we caught up on all the content that was released since yesterday. I'm hoping we get a bunch more tomorrow and the day after that. IAE is an exciting time. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel here. Each day they release stuff like this, I will definitely be checking it out. I'll be checking it out with you, and we can chat about it. What are your thoughts from all of the content that was dropped over the past, I don't know, looks like a lot of this was 6 hours ago, a day ago. Yeah. So basically since yesterday. Any thoughts on all the content? What ship are you looking forward to the most this IAE? Is there any old ship that you're looking at picking up that you just haven't had time to get yet? Or any of the new ships that are being talked about interesting to you? Salvation? Perseus? Clipper? I gotta say, personally, for me, I'm not allowed to vote in my own surveys, but if you go to the Grolo community page, there is a poll running right now on which ship you're most excited about. I got the top three up there are the RSI Perseus, the Clipper, and the Salvation. Looks like we got some votes coming in. We're up to 37. Looks like the Perseus is in the lead at 35%, but the Clipper is right behind it at 35. I'm not allowed to vote in my own poll. If I could, I'd be voting for the Clipper. That is the ship I'm most excited about, this IAE. But I would love to hear what you're fancying, if anything, or maybe not at all. Thoughts on the role of the Perseus being a heavy gunship versus the older gunship, the Hammerhead? You agree with my position on needing to bring the Hammerhead forward in its design a little bit so it's a little more competitive? And do you agree with the importance of the little details that CIG adds to these games? Do you see the correlation between that and Apple's take on the innards of computers back in the day, or anything along those lines? Anything at all that we talked about today? I would love to dig in. I look forward to continuing this conversation in the comments below. Until next time, which will probably be tomorrow, take care, and Grolo out.